more on this, let's talk further with civil and human rights attorney Gerard Filitti, senior counsel at the Lawfare Project. Gerard, thanks for being with us this morning. This list has now been out for about 12 hours. More than 900 pages have been released containing some pretty big names. A lot to unpack here, but just first, your top line thoughts and biggest takeaways after poring over these documents yourself.
The top line thoughts are the documents are really underwhelming. The names are largely what we expected them to be. The allegations are what we've seen in the media before. There is nothing really new here. What's interesting is the context in which these names come up, which largely involves depositions being taken or people identified as employees, persons with knowledge, persons who have been accused of involving with Epstein but not charged with anything. Ultimately, this is a very interesting release. We expect a lot more documents in the coming days, but what we've seen so far is underwhelming in terms of names and allegations.
Yeah, and I know that, Gerard, you flagged one of those filings for us that Dre just mentioned in his reporting. I wanted to bring that up. This email from 2015 where Jeffrey Epstein tells Ghislaine Maxwell, quote, "You can issue a reward to any of Virginia's friends," where he also noted a lurid allegation against Stephen Hawking that we just mentioned in our reporting. Why was this part in particular so significant in your eyes?
Well, it's significant for a few reasons. The first of which is this shows a potential intent on the part of Epstein to pay off witnesses, which is illegal in itself, and shows the depth to which he was seeking to silence witnesses, potential witnesses against him, reaching out to offer money to family members and acquaintances of a plaintiff to testify that that allegations are false is a form of intimidation and bribery. And this does show the desperation that Epstein was facing. At the same time, this is also not something new. We were aware of the allegations involving Stephen Hawking back in 2015 when pictures emerged of him with Epstein. So the allegations themselves are not new. What's interesting is the context, and the context is attempting to pay off witnesses.
Yeah. Also, Ghislaine Maxwell has continued to deny involvement in facilitating Epstein's abuse while they were associated with one another, business partners, dating, whatever you want to call it. Here's what her lawyer, Arthur Aidala, told NewsNation. Let's take a listen.
She knows that she really didn't get a fair shake. It does seem a little hypocritical, doesn't it, that this is a case about women being used in the worst way possible, and the only human being in prison paying the price is a woman.
Maxwell is now appealing, as you know, her 20-year prison sentence. What's your reaction to that, Gerard?
My reaction is, from what I've seen of the trial of Maxwell, it seems to have been conducted fairly and properly. The judge made the right decisions. I don't think she has strong chances of succeeding on appeal. And these allegations really go to continue perpetuating trauma on the victims of Epstein, the people who suffered in being trafficked and being exploited. And it's really not a nice thing to see that she is being painted as a victim and not as someone who helped Epstein in his acts. And what we're seeing from the document lays out the relationship between Maxwell and Epstein. They were joined at the hip from what we read, and it really puts to rest a lot of these notions that she is somehow innocent of any wrongdoing.
Yeah. We also know, we learned early yesterday morning, that a couple of these Jane Does have filed appeals requesting to the judge that they be kept confidential. The judge granted that until at least January 22nd. And to your point, over the next days and weeks, we'll start to get, even more documents, a slow drip, if you will. What are you expecting to come next? Any major new legal action or charges to come from this unsealing?
It's not likely to see new legal charges. The statute of limitations on criminal charges has largely lapsed. Civil litigation as well is likely out, even though President Biden signed a law waiving statute of limitations for civil sex charges by victims 2 years ago. That is not retroactive. So basically, what we can see is we don't expect any future court actions, but perhaps as these documents come out, they will help bring closure to some of the victims here and show that their stories are being heard and that they're being recognized for what they endured.
Well, in the interim, we'll just keep hitting that refresh button on these court documents to watch for any major new developments and updates. Gerard Filitti, thank you so much for your time on such a big morning.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.